I am a woman of ill fortune. My parents said everything I had belonged to my younger brother, and I must act for his sake. When he gambled, I stole the money set aside to repay his debts, all for his own good, only for him to have 2 fingers chopped off. He never gambled again. Yet my parents blamed me for failing to repay his gambling debts. My husband kept frequenting brothels. Not only did he squander money, but he risked catching a disease. For his own good. I shed tears as I cut off his manhood. But my husband came to hate me for it and demanded a divorce. I couldn't understand. I devoted myself to caring for my loved ones. Yet one by one, they abandoned me, left alone with my child. I now live in a newly built house, tending to dozens of acres of fertile fields. Why must this be? My name is Su Zhaodi. After my parents had me, they named me Zhaodi, meaning invited daughter. Soon after, my mother gave birth to my younger brother. I felt quite pleased. After all, I had invited him into the world. But after bearing my brother, my mother's health declined, and she bore no more children. From childhood, my parents taught me that everything I had belonged to my brother, and I must always consider his needs. And that's exactly what I did. My parents always saved the best food for my brother. But he showed no gratitude. He dared to yell at them and demanded meat and eggs at every meal. Day after day. Whenever my parents weren't home, I beat him until his skin split open. I told him, "Sister's doing this for your own good. Look at yourself now, you're all crooked. Not a shred of gratitude. Keep this up, and you'll eat the family out of house and home." My brother is 4 years younger than me, no match for me. At first, he cried and threatened to tell on me. I dragged him to the water barrel and pushed his head under. I lamented bitterly, "Sister's doing this for your own good. If you don't know gratitude, you don't deserve to live. I'll drown you. And Mom and Dad can have another sensible child." I wasn't satisfied. The little brother Su Zhaodi, brought into this world shouldn't be like you. My brother stared at me in terror. He knew I meant it. When Su Zhaodi, say something. I mean it. Besides, kids drowning was common. It was just a matter of not watching him closely enough. At worst, I'd get a few beatings. It wasn't like I hadn't been beaten before. My brother became obedient. He never threw tantrums or demanded treats again. But he did fear me. Sometimes when he found something tasty, he'd hide it away from me. That's when I knew my methods worked. At home, I was like an old workhorse. I never stopped working. Household chores, farm labor, there wasn't a single task Su Zhaodi couldn't handle. My strength grew stronger with each passing day of toil. When I reached marriageable age, my parents found me a family offering the most dowry. It was the Wang family from our own village. The Wang household was also small. They had only one son, Wang Dazhu. Wang Dazhu had been frail and sickly since childhood. And as an adult, he was lazy and fond of eating. The Wang family wanted a capable wife to marry him and look after him. Though Wang Dazhu didn't work, he had clear, handsome features and had attended private school for 2 years, giving him a refined appearance. I rather liked him too. His family offered 10 taels of silver as a dowry. My parents were delighted. I was delighted too. It meant they valued me. I left home for my new family. My parents didn't prepare a single outfit for me. They said they needed to save the money for my younger brother. He's already 12 this year. He seems fine when I'm watching him. But I truly fear he might turn out to be another lazy, good-for-nothing Wang Dazhu. Fortunately, we're all in the same village, so I can still help look after my brother. Before I married, my parents taught me this too. We're the real family to you. Whenever there's anything good, make sure to send it back to us first. If you ever get mistreated at your in-laws, Your brother will stand up for you. You're an outsider in the Wang family. Don't be kind to them. Whatever good things they have, remember to scrape them off and send them our way. I nodded to show I understood. I married into the Wang family. My mother-in-law told me, your birth family practically sold you to us. They showed no mercy. Didn't prepare any dowry for you. Don't be foolish. With relatives like that, just keep up appearances. A woman marries and follows her husband. From now on, everything must come after Daju. He is your sky. Everything you have belongs to him. You must consider him. Do what's best for him. I nodded to show I understood. After marrying into the Wang family, I worked like an ox. Household chores, farm work, I did it all. Fortunately, though Daju was lazy, my in-laws were diligent and good at managing the household. The three of us working easily supported one idle person. Every time my mother saw me, she urged me to steal grain from the Wang family for them. If my mother-in-law bought meat or cloth, mother would tell me to steal it for them. I wondered why she asked me to steal. Did she enjoy seeing me pilfer things? I quietly filed this thought away in my mind. My mother-in-law kept a close watch on me. Valuables like meat, grain, cloth, and eggs were locked away. I couldn't steal a thing. Time passed quickly. 5 years after marrying Daju, I had given birth to 3 sons. Everyone in the village who saw me would praise me for being fertile. I felt quite proud of that. But my peaceful days were soon shattered. My younger brother, Su Yaozu, turned 15. He too had developed a lazy, gluttonous nature. He often went to town, hanging out with others like him, wasting his days away. At first, it wasn't much. Later, my brother developed a gambling addiction. Before I found out, he'd already stolen money from home and lost nearly 5 taels of silver. Hearing this, my heart skipped a beat. I'd never seen that much silver before. Was he going to gamble away all my dowry money? My brother's gambling caused quite a stir. The reason was that the gambling den's men came to the village in full force to collect their debts. My brother was beaten until his face was black and blue. The gambling house men declared, if he doesn't pay up, we'll chop off his fingers. My father trembled as he asked, how? How much does he owe? The gambling house men replied, 20 taels of silver. If he doesn't pay, you'll see his fingers chopped off. My mother collapsed on the ground, begging them to spare him, saying we didn't have that much money. Indeed, 20 taels of silver was no small sum. For most families, 10 taels represented savings accumulated over a lifetime. So I bore 2 sons for the Wang family. Their dowry money was well spent. Still, I worried. I have 3 sons. I need to save for their future weddings. Their father is no help, and my mother-in-law hoards every penny. I don't have a single copper coin to my name. The gamblers took my younger brother away. My parents began begging for money throughout the village. My mother came to me, demanding 5 taels of silver. I cringed under her fingers, desperately explaining, Mother, I have no money. My mother-in-law won't give me any. Then go steal it. Are you stupid? I won't do such a thing. I said. Stealing is wrong. You'll get caught and go to jail. My mother, frustrated beyond words, struck me hard several times. My eldest son, Dahu, who was 4 this year, saw my mother hitting me. He let out a wail and charged straight at her. Seeing this, I quickly scooped him up into my arms. Dahu roared, You old hag. You're bullying my mother again. He shouted loudly, Grandma, the old hag is hitting my mother. My mother-in-law came out of the house wielding a rolling pin, yelling, Su family, have you no shame? You sold your own daughter back then. Now you're stirring up trouble with Zhao Di. My mother was a bit intimidated by my mother-in-law's fierceness. She didn't mention the loan and hurried away. I quietly pulled Big Tiger into a corner and whispered, "Big Tiger, did your grandparents in the village manage to borrow the money?" Big Tiger was 4. Second Tiger was 3. Third Tiger was 1.5. Big Tiger and Second Tiger loved exploring the village. They knew quite a lot. Big Tiger nodded. She borrowed quite a bit. I pursed my lips. My brother wouldn't change unless he learned his lesson. I knew him well. My parents were just too soft-hearted. All that money wasted. And it didn't help my brother at all. In the dead of night, when everyone was fast asleep, I rose silently. I took the sleeping smoke and went to my parents' house. The sleeping smoke was given to me half a year ago. I found an herbalist in the mountains who'd broken his leg. I carried him back to town. And this was his payment. With the sleeping smoke. I also diligently studied the skill of picking locks with wire. Now, I'd mastered it perfectly. First, I blew the sleeping smoke through the window and waited for the duration of a stick of incense. I crawled through the dog hole connecting the woodshed and the kitchen. Then, I pried open the chest where my mother kept her valuables with the wire. Inside was a silver hairpin, 25 taels of silver ingots, plus several hundred copper coins. Our village was considered well off. After paying taxes on our grain, we could sell some to make extra money. My parents were stingy. And sure enough, they'd saved quite a bit. Thinking of my younger brother, I hardened my heart and stole all the money. As for the silver hairpin, I left it untouched. After stealing the money, I hurried home. I hid the money in a hole I'd dug long ago. The hole was under the bed shared by me and Wang Daju. I dug several, intending to keep the money separate. With this done, I planned to use the money someday to marry off my son. My younger brother could also learn to be good. It was a win-win. The next day, my parents' wails shook the heavens. Our family was eating. The adults had black flour buns and wild vegetable porridge. My son had white rice porridge and white steamed buns. I was quite satisfied with this arrangement. My son wasn't as clueless as my younger brother. They knew to protect me. Hearing the cries, we hurried outside with our bowls to see what was happening. My mother wailed, "Damned thief! He stole all the money we saved through hard work. What will become of my son?" My father cried too. "That bastard! How dare he steal from our home?" Villagers chattered in shock that a thief had come to our village. After all, theft was rare here. Suddenly, everyone rushed home to check their belongings. My mother-in-law hurried back too. I followed behind her, watching as she opened her chest. My parents cried themselves out. Then came to me, demanding I find a way to save my brother. I truly had no money. Crying bitterly and feeling wronged, I let them push and shove me. My mother snapped, "You have no money? Then let your mother-in-law give it. Otherwise, we'll sell you to a brothel." My father fumed, "He's your brother. How can you stand by and do nothing?" Big Tiger and Second Tiger charged forward to strike them both. Seeing them, Mother's face twisted in a mix of shock and delight. A wealthy family in town is buying servants. Sell one of your sons. That family in town was seeking playmates for their mentally disabled son and had already beaten 2 children to death. I fell to my knees, pleading, "Mother, I beg you, don't sell Big Tiger or Second Tiger, they're your own flesh and blood." Villagers gathered to watch the commotion. My mother declared matter-of-factly, "You have 3 sons, selling one won't hurt. But you only have one younger brother. Could you bear to see him hurt?" I clung tightly to Big Tiger and Little Tiger. Curling into a ball, my mother-in-law emerged twisting a kitchen knife, intent on slashing my mother to death. My parents fled in panic. My mother-in-law screamed at me, "You worthless thing. They're selling your sons. And you won't even fight them." My grandson is cursed to have a mother like you. Big Tiger roared, "Don't you dare insult my mother." Second Tiger shouted, "Don't." Third Tiger, "Ah." Grandma nearly choked on her anger. I quickly interjected, "Mother. They are my parents. No parent is perfect in this world. Whatever they do, I will never blame them. They gave me life." Grandma stroked her chest and retreated inside. She muttered, "What a disgrace to the family. What a disgrace." Back in the room, she berated Daju for lying in bed and not working, saying neither of us was any good. Her grandson would suffer greatly in the future. Grief welled up in me too, and tears fell. The villagers all praised me. "Zhaodi is so filial. Zhaodi is a good child. No wonder the Wang family was willing to pay 10 taels of silver as a dowry. Zhaodi is honest and capable. But she's easily taken advantage of. Her parents are no good. Her brother is the same. But Zhaodi is devoted to her maternal family, always thinking of her maternal uncle. Ah. Her maternal uncle is her backbone. If she doesn't help Su Yaozu, who will stand up for her when she's bullied in the future? That weakling Su Yaozu? Could he possibly protect her? Her parents had borrowed from everyone they could, but still couldn't scrape together the money. On the third day, her brother was dumped at their doorstep, covered in blood. 5 of his fingers had been chopped off. It was horrifying to look at. His face was beaten to a pulp. He had a fever too. Whether he'd survive was anyone's guess. I felt a twinge of guilt. But then I thought, this was for his own good. He chose to gamble, so this was the consequence. I just hoped he'd learn his lesson this time. I went back to my parents' home to care for my brother. Every time I saw him like this, I couldn't stop crying. I said, "Brother, I wish I could take all this pain and suffering for you. You are the Su family's hope. You absolutely cannot come to harm. How could we go on living otherwise?" My brother wept uncontrollably. "Sis, I'll never gamble again." Wah! My heart swelled with joy. He had finally seen the light. My approach had worked. My brother recovered. His hands still needed rest. I went to town to sell the surplus greens from our fields. I heard a wealthy family in the county seat was hiring maids and housekeepers. After checking with the matchmaker, I learned they'd take women my mother's age. My mother is only 35. Though she's past her prime, she still has her charm. After finalizing the details with the matchmaker, I returned to the village. The next day, my father went to work in the fields. My brother stayed in bed recuperating. I confessed guiltily to my mother, "Mother, seeing my brother like this breaks my heart." With no money left, Hill struggled to marry. Wiping her tears, she took my hand, "My daughter, you've thought this through. I haven't raised you in vain. Just sneak your son out. Send him to the town to live in comfort. And use the money to marry off your brother. Your brother is your true support." I nodded. I told my mother, "Mother, I'm afraid if my mother-in-law finds out, she'll beat me to death or divorce me. So, let's pretend Dahu ran away on his own." My mother slapped her thigh and said, "That's a good idea." We agreed she would wait for me on the road to town. I would bring Dahu there, and together we would sell him. Mother left. Watching her hasty yet cheerful retreat, I pressed my lips together. Mother loved selling people. As her daughter, I must honor her by doing what she cherished. I returned home, concealed a kitchen knife and an axe in my clothes, then headed in the opposite direction. I entered the mountains, took a side path, and detoured toward town. Mother sat waiting for me on the hillside near the town. I approached and handed her a steamed bun. She asked, "Where's Big Tiger?" I replied, "Mother, let's negotiate the price first. Then we'll take Big Tiger straight over." Mother took the bun, split it in half, set aside one portion for my younger brother, and ate the other herself. Hearing this, she rolled her eyes. Of course we need to bring Big Tiger to negotiate the price. They'll only offer a high price when they see him so lively and energetic. Still, she didn't dare scold me too harshly, afraid I might refuse to sell Big Tiger. She simply didn't have the strength to bring him along. Big Tiger and Second Tiger would curse her as a villain the moment they saw her. She couldn't possibly take both of them, unless she tied them up. But that would make them too conspicuous. Too obvious. After eating the steamed bun, my mother's eyes closed shortly after, her breathing growing heavy. I carried her on my back, deliberately choosing paths with few people. Then I found the slave trader. The slave trader looked at my mother and nodded. She could work on a farmstead, or do menial tasks in a mansion. They gave me 3 taels of silver, bound my mother, and tossed her into the cart. I took one last look at her, though my heart ached. I remembered how she'd always wanted to sell my son. She must have thought life after being sold would be good. I would make sure she got to live that life. She couldn't bring herself to decide. So I, her dutiful daughter, would help her. She was 35. Maybe she could still remarry and have children. Life holds infinite possibilities. I returned home with the silver. Then my mother-in-law berated me, because she couldn't find the kitchen knife. I pressed my lips together, said nothing. I always did the most work and spoke the least. Daju still lay sprawled on the bed, sleeping soundly. Dahu, Eru, and Sanhu played happily outside. Their laughter filled the courtyard. I was watching Daju, lost in thought. Suddenly, he opened his eyes and bellowed, "You little brats! Keep it down! Your father's sleeping!" Outside fell silent. Daju had grown strong and healthy, and his voice carried when he yelled at the children. He glared at me disapprovingly. "Su Zhaodi, what are you staring at? Get back to work. My parents endured hardships to raise me. Marrying you wasn't meant to be a life of luxury." I nodded hastily and rushed outside. My mother hadn't returned for days, and everyone was frantic with worry. Rumors began spreading through the village that she'd been lured away by some man. She couldn't bear the Su family's poverty anymore. Indeed, since the money was stolen, the Su household had grown even more destitute. We had to tighten our belts and save money to pay off debts. My father's face was wrinkled like a chrysanthemum from worry. As time passed, people gradually forgot about my mother's disappearance. My father wanted to remarry, but he had no money. He came to me for money. I still had none. He cursed me a thankless bastard. My younger brother now looks at people with fear, shrinking back timidly. But thankfully, he started working the fields. Big Tiger is 5. Second Tiger is 4. And Third Tiger is 2. Big Zhu now comes home less and less. But he doesn't go to the gambling dens. Instead, he goes to the brothel. He's fallen for a girl there named Little Chui. I've heard him call out her name in his sleep several times, laughing with a lecherous grin. Daju has money. He'd coax a few copper coins from Grandma by acting cute. Sometimes he'd even steal from her, but she never scolded him when she found out. After all, he was her own flesh and blood, raised through so much hardship. No matter how shrewd and capable Grandma was, when it came to Wang Daju, she could only concede defeat. I didn't want to get involved in this sort of thing, because when a man has had his fill of fun, he'll naturally come home. All I had to do was wait quietly for him to return. But when I went to town to sell vegetables, I overheard the women selling vegetables nearby saying that a girl in the brothel had contracted syphilis. She wouldn't live more than 2 months. Men could catch it too, and then they'd die. I hurriedly asked how long it usually took for the symptoms to appear. The auntie whispered mysteriously, "Symptoms appear within 1 or 2 months." My heart sank with relief. Ever since I gave birth to Sanhu, Daju had grown to despise me. He said I was like a loose sack now. It ruined his mood. I knew my body had changed drastically after childbirth. Daju used to enjoy intimacy. But later he barely touched me, leaving me a young widow in all but name. My life had always been hard. So enduring this widowhood was something I gritted my teeth and endured. It wasn't the end of the world. But hearing how deadly this venereal disease was made me worry terribly for Daju. Back home, I told my mother-in-law what I'd heard in town. She immediately stormed into the room and ordered Daju never to go to the brothel again. Now Daju sleeps during the day and frequents the brothel at night. Dark circles ring his eyes. Seeing their father so listless, Dahu and Eru glare at him with hatred. These children are closest to me. Young ones know right from wrong best. Daju agreed verbally. But after dinner, he returned to the room and began rummaging through drawers. Our 3 sons sleep with us on the same kong. Our home has few rooms, just 3, with one filled with odds and ends. I worry about how my sons will find wives when they grow up. Yet Daju dug out my only somewhat new dress. It was made from fabric given to me by the old doctor I once saved. To this day, it remains my only beautiful dress, one truly my own. I usually couldn't bear to wear it. Only on special holidays could I put it on once. And even then, I had to be extremely careful, afraid of getting it dirty. In my plan, I intended to wear this dress for at least 20 years. That way, during holidays, I would look presentable and beautiful. But Daju just took the dress and walked away. Hesitantly, I asked, Daju, where are you taking my clothes? Daju snapped impatiently. You're so ugly. Tall and burly like a man. How could you possibly wear such a beautiful dress? It's a waste on you. Tears welled up in my eyes. Dahu, Eru, and Sanhu were all watching us. I felt my face burn with shame. Daju walked away with the dress. No need to guess. I knew he was heading to the brothel. He must have run out of money and was taking my dress to please his lover. I sat on the bedside, lost in thought. Dahu and the other 2 huddled close to me. Dahu said, Mother, don't be sad. When I grow up, I'll buy you the most beautiful clothes in the whole world. Eru said, Mother, I won't just buy you clothes. I'll buy you delicious cakes too. Third tiger, Mama. Mama! Wah! I wiped my tears and held all 3 of them close. I thought about what they said. Most of their wishes would never come true. Even though our village hadn't starved anyone to death. And we lived a bit better than other villages. We were still very poor. Clothes were patched over and over. White rice and fresh vegetables were rare treats. I could picture the life my sons would lead when they grew up. They probably wouldn't turn out like their uncle or father, lazy and greedy. But like the other men in the village, they'd toil from dawn till dusk. In the end, they'd wear poorly and eat poorly. Suddenly, I felt panic. It wasn't that they couldn't afford to buy me a dress, it was that I didn't want them to live that kind of life. But I couldn't think of any good way to give my sons a bright future. In the end, I stole my mother-in-law's eggs. I stole 10 of them. I took them to that old doctor in town whom I'd saved. He was very happy to see me. He asked how I'd been lately. I hurriedly said I was managing. I handed him the eggs. Then I asked him directly, Doctor, I'm not well educated, but I have 3 sons. I want to know, is there any way you could help them have a bright future? I don't want them to just scrape by in the fields like everyone else in our village. The old doctor paused. His gaze filled with admiration. He pondered. A bright future requires immense effort and money to build. The best path is schooling. But tuition alone costs 10 taels of silver per year. I hesitated. It's not that there are no scholars. But the cost is too high. And passing the imperial exams is as rare as hen's teeth. Many families end up chasing rainbows. But I couldn't think of any other way. The old doctor added. Then there's learning a trade. That's hard work too. And you need to find a master willing to teach. I glanced at his clinic. Inside, the bustling assistants addressed him as either grandfather or father. Not a single outsider. For the first time, I regretted marrying the wrong man. The old doctor didn't take my eggs. I set them down and left. I wandered the town streets in a daze. People streamed past me. I now had 30 taels of silver. 25 taels I'd stolen from my parents. Plus a few copper coins. And 5 taels from selling my mother. This money wasn't enough. Worse, I couldn't even use it. If I did, my mother-in-law would confiscate it, and Daju would snatch it to spend in brothels. As I pondered this, a woman in a peach-colored skirt appeared ahead. She wasn't particularly attractive. Her face was sallow and haggard, yet she carried an air of vulgar allure. I noticed her because she wore my skirt. Rage surged through me. That skirt was worth a fortune. How much better it would have been for my son. I charged forward. Grabbing her hair, I slapped her several times. As I struck her, I screamed, "You shameless little whore! Seducing my husband! Stealing my dress for yourself! You little slut! I'll beat you to death today!" A crowd gathered to watch the spectacle. Everyone knew what was happening. It wasn't the first time these courtesans were beaten by the family's legitimate wives. I was indeed taller and more imposing than the average woman. With considerable strength, the woman had no ability to resist at all. I stripped her clothes off. Still not satisfied, I yanked the hairpin from her head, spat on it hatefully, and cursed, "Dare to use my things? Every time I see you, I'll beat you." The prostitute covered her face and ran away. I returned home. My mother-in-law discovered the missing eggs and was cursing. She grabbed me by the collar. "Did you steal the eggs and take them to your mother's house?" I shed innocent tears. "Mother, I didn't steal anything. I'm not that kind of person. If I did steal, may Daju meet a terrible death." My mother-in-law released me, slapped her thigh, and screamed, "Which damn thief stole my eggs? I wouldn't even let my grandson eat them." Mother-in-law saved eggs to sell for money. I looked at the clothes in my hands and said, "Mother, Daju took my clothes to give to a brothel prostitute." I snatched them back. Mother-in-law froze, then cursed, "That damned Wang Daju. Stealing his wife's clothes. Stealing this old woman's eggs. Trying to curry favor with brothel prostitutes. Why did I give birth to such a monster?" As soon as Daju returned, he tried to beat me. He yelled, "Su Zhaodi, you shrew! How dare you hit Chunhong? Hand over the clothes!" Kneel down and apologize to Chunhong. He hit me. So I ran. My mother-in-law chased after him to beat him too. She yelled, "You ungrateful dog! Stealing your mother's eggs for whores! I'll beat you to death today." In the courtyard, Daju chased me, beating me. His mother chased him, beating him. For a moment, it was quite a scene. Finally, Wang Daju couldn't run anymore. My mother-in-law hit him. He flew into a rage. "I didn't steal any eggs." Grandma wouldn't believe him. Watching Wang Daju like this, I saw my own brother. I had to set him straight, or he'd go bad too. I bit my lip, fearing Grandma's blows. Wang Daju ran off. I washed the skirt and hung it to dry. That night, I carefully tucked it into my own trunk. Wang Daju returned that evening. His face was twisted with rage. He slapped me across the face. I cowered in a corner, saying nothing. My in-laws pretended not to see. Dahu and Era clenched their fists tightly, glaring angrily at Wang Daju. Wang Daju raised his hand, ready to strike them. I quickly shielded them behind me. That night, I curled up in the corner of the bed, Silently weeping, Daha wiped my tears in the darkness. I patted his back, soothing him to sleep. The next day, I took my skirt to the tailor shop to sell it. It was still quite new. The owner gave me 200 won. 200 won seemed like it wouldn't accomplish much. I felt a bit lost. A few days later, Wang Daju went out again at night. I didn't know what he was taking to that prostitute this time. The moment he stepped out the door, I slipped out behind him. On a mountain path, dark and deserted, I struck Wang Daju from behind with a wooden stick, knocking him unconscious. I carried him up the mountain, blindfolded him with black cloth, bound his hands and feet with rope. Then, by the faint moonlight, I sliced off his manhood. My handiwork was precise. He screamed once, then passed out. I quickly searched through all his clothes. Then, in his embrace, I found a packet of silver. A whole packet. I counted it, there were 50 taels. Where had he gotten so much money? I had no time to ponder that. I stuffed all the silver onto myself, then slapped his face hard several times. I hoped it would make him reform. Wang Daju reeked of blood. He couldn't stay in the mountains, wild beasts would devour him. I only wanted him to change for the better, not to harm him. I covered his face with his clothes and hoisted him onto my shoulders. Heading for town, taking back roads, I dumped him in an alley near the brothel district. After abandoning him, I hurried away. My stride was swift, my movements quick. By the time I returned home, barely half an hour had passed. I quickly hid the 50 taels of silver and washed my shoes. I lay down beside my 3 sons and fell asleep. Early the next morning, a large group arrived at our house. They carried Wang Daju on a stretcher. My mother-in-law and I rushed over. She wept, "Daju, my son, who harmed you?" I threw myself upon him, wailing, "Daju, how could you become a eunuch? Who could be so heartless?" Villagers gathered to gawk. Wang Daju howled in agony. My heart ached as I wiped tears beside him. Mother-in-law boiled water. I washed Daju's body. The doctor shook his head. Grief overwhelmed me, and I wept even harder. The constables arrived swiftly. Wang Daju said, "I stole money from my mother." The moment he finished speaking, Grandma rushed like the wind into her own room. We could still hear the sound of drawers being thrown open. Then came Grandma's wails, "Damn it all! My savings for the old man's funeral." Wang Daju wept too. Chunhong promised to buy my freedom. I told her I'd steal from mother. But someone knocked me out on the way. And, he sobbed. I cried with him, "Daju, don't worry. No matter what, I'll never abandon you." Dahu, Eru, and Sanhu cried along with me. I held them tightly. A widow and her orphan children must have looked pitiful. The villagers sighed, "Zhaodi is such a good woman." Yes. No matter what Daju did, she forgave him. He even hit her for that prostitute. The slap mark didn't fade for ages. Women. They really have it rough. The constables quickly arrested Chunhong. What surprised me was that Chunhong had a lover. The two had actually planned to knock Wang Daju unconscious and steal his money. They claimed they hadn't carried it out yet. But the constables didn't believe them. Because Wang Daju's injuries clearly showed that the man, jealous that Wang Daju had touched Chunhong, had chopped off his manhood in revenge. Wang Daju lost over 50 taels of silver again. If they didn't do it, then who did? I was deeply troubled. The village women urged me to divorce him. They said, "Zhaodi, you're still young. There's no need to live as a widow while your husband is still alive." Yes. Daju was lazy and good for nothing. Now he's useless. You can bear sons. There are plenty of men waiting to marry you. I firmly refused them all. I'll spend my life with Wang Daju, whether he's a cripple or not. Losing his manhood seemed to strip Wang Daiju of his confidence. Now he's timid and meek, avoids eye contact, and even trembles when speaking to me. When we went to work in the fields, he followed us. He's changed completely. With an extra pair of hands at home, the farm work got done quickly. But my son was often teased by the village children. They mocked him, saying his father had no manhood, that he was a eunuch. My son grew unhappy and stopped wanting to play outside. I comforted them, "You are the Wang family's future now. You don't need to worry about your father. Your father is indeed useless. That's the truth, and we won't deny it." When someone else said their father had lost his manhood, Dahu replied in a babyish voice, "My father lost his manhood, but we haven't lost ours." Saying this, he pulled down his pants and declared boldly, "Look, mine is still here." When the grandmother found out, she cried again and beat Daiju. She blamed him for not learning to behave. I started resenting him too. At bedtime, after the 3 children fell asleep, I said, "I'm so young, yet I'm already living as a widow." After speaking, I sighed deeply. Daju's head drooped even lower. Over time, he stopped talking altogether. Sometimes when he annoyed me, I'd kick him off the bed. "You useless man. How dare you sleep here?" Once he fought back, trying to hit me. He snarled, "No matter what, I'm still your husband." I grabbed his arm and flipped it around to slap him hard across the face. "You're useless now. What makes you different from me? I can still bear sons. You're completely worthless." Then we fought silently. He was no match for me. I pinned him to the ground and beat him mercilessly. The next day, my in-laws saw his bruised and swollen face and knew I'd hit him. They were furious. I slammed the basin down and sat outside the house, sobbing, "Heaven above! To be widowed so young! What kind of man did I marry? For some whore. He lost his manhood and stole all our money. How will my son find a wife? I can't go on living. He still wants to hit me. He still wants to hit me. I can't go on living." Everyone started scolding Wang Daiju, telling him to treat me better. He'd already wronged me enough. Whenever Wang Daiju saw a crowd, he'd get scared and tense, not daring to make a peep. Over time, whenever I felt frustrated or worried about money, I'd beat him up. If he hadn't squandered our money on prostitutes, my son could have had more to spend. Now I barely have 80 taels total, not nearly enough for 3 sons. If he weren't such a good-for-nothing, I wouldn't be suffering like this. After getting used to hitting him, I'd just want to beat him whenever I saw him. He started avoiding me, but eventually he couldn't take it anymore and asked for a divorce. I stared at him in disbelief. "Divorce? You're a eunuch now, and you still pine for that whore? She's the one who took your manhood." Daiju grabbed his hair. "Stop it. I can't take you anymore. I don't want to live with you." I refused to divorce him, no matter how much he raged. It was useless. Daiju moved to sleep in the woodshed. He refused to stay with me. I watched him, biting my lip. When others were around, I wiped my tears. His parents didn't dare speak up anymore, because now I fought back, no longer taking beatings or insults without response. His parents couldn't rely on Wang Daiju either. With no money left, didn't they depend on me and my son? I couldn't think of any way to earn money. I had no choice but to hunt in the mountains. My luck was truly remarkable. After digging countless traps, I finally caught a wild boar. I sold the boar for over a tael of silver. I kept it all myself. So I stopped tending to the household chores and farm work entirely, focusing solely on hunting. I was strong and willing to put in the hard work. Within a month, I'd hunted pheasants, hares, 2 wild boars, and a deer. I made a good deal of money. Exactly how much? No one knew. The next month, I sent Big Tiger to school. Eru stayed home to look after his younger brother. When Dahu returned, he would teach Eru and Sanhu what the master had taught him. I told the three of them, sons, if we want a better life in the future, you must study hard. Whether you pass the imperial exams to become officials or work as bookkeepers, it's better than toiling in the fields. Your mother's job is to hunt and earn money for your education. All three listened to me and studied diligently. I didn't sell the rabbits, I kept them at home. Rabbits bred rabbits. And soon we had many. Fearing I'd beat him, Wang Daju became very diligent. The task of feeding the rabbits fell to him. See? My approach works. I'm the one truly looking out for them. My younger brother, Su Yaozu, also couldn't hold his head up in the village. Now he just works silently, getting by. Both he and my father want to marry, but they have no money. Time flies. Ever since Wang Daju stopped sharing my room, I bought chains and locks to secure it. Now I have over 200 taels of silver in my hands. Considering that Big Tiger and Little Tiger are growing up, it won't be appropriate for them to share a room with me in the future. Besides, when they grow up, they'll need money to marry wives too. So I discussed it with my in-laws, father, mother. I think our house isn't big enough. Let's hire someone to expand it. Mother-in-law, we don't have the money. I pursed my lips, I earned money hunting. I can build it. But since I built it, it's mine. They had no objections. So I built a large house with 4 rooms next to the old homestead, plus a bright kitchen and a bathing area. My in-laws and Wang Daju stayed in the old house. My 3 sons and I moved into the new house next door. I also built a large barn for raising rabbits. Time flew by. I kept hunting for money. Big Tiger, Second Tiger, and Third Tiger all went to school. Third Tiger was the smartest. My income grew steadily from hunting and selling poultry. But educating 3 sons was costly, often leaving me worried. Fortunately, I managed to scrape together enough to keep going. My younger brother, Su Yaozu, grew much more responsible. He often helped me cut grass to feed the rabbits when I hunted wild boar. He'd come to assist. Wang Daju was the same, now he could handle farm work too. But both of them had become utterly silent, hardly speaking at all. Being the kind-hearted older sister, I helped my brother find a wife. When my father hinted I should find a wife for him, I ignored him, because I had to consider my mother. What if she returned and found my father had someone new? What would she do? Now, the 3 Hu brothers have all grown into dashing young men, and each has passed the county-level examination. I've already bought dozens of acres of prime farmland. Each year, besides earning money from selling rabbits and other poultry, we also profit from the grain harvest. My in-laws and Wang Daju work tirelessly, and my father and younger brother come to help during the busy farming seasons. The entire family works together in harmony to make each day count. Whether the 3 Hu brothers return to farm the land, pursue the imperial examinations, or go into business, our family will always be their safety net. If they come back as brothers, I can still find wives for them. Fortunately, the 3 Hu brothers are obedient. I don't need to worry about them as much as I did for Daju and Yaozu. But ultimately, my fate remains bitter. My silent, incapable husband left me to live a life of widowhood. My disabled, taciturn younger brother, they both live like criminals. My heart aches for them. But such is the way of the world. I can only learn to accept and adapt. Later, Hu and San who entered the imperial court as officials. I was granted the title of noble lady, heir who managed the family estate at home. My children finally lived well through my efforts. They all said, my mother lived a bitter life. Tears of emotion welled in my eyes. Though arduous, it was all worth it. The end.